Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Have you held a peaceful demonstration by holding a placard or won a shot communicating about injustices? Is it a speech about rights? Are they for women, children, youths, people with disabilities, elderly, environmental or lands? Do you know you're a human rights defender? Are you threatened, harassed, intimidated, illegally arrested, detained, tortured or imprisoned as a result of defending rights? If you have experienced any of the forementioned, please reach out to National Coalition for Human Rights Defenders Uganda for assistance on their toll-free number 0800 100 250 or visit their offices located in Ntinda, Kampala, Semawata Road. Defending rights is constitutional. Please don't shy away.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Dig Talk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugende mu maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
The world is at a critical moment of providing innovative alternatives as a means to create change.
As such, we have created a not-for-profit alternative mobile digital platform as a way to promote space for freedom of speech and expression to the unheard voices.
We know you believe in the cause and you can further it more by contributing to its sustainability in forms of internet data, fuel, and any other support you deem relevant.
Please support us with your contribution to Equity Bank account number 103-5201-607252 under the name Alternative Digital, or our mobile money numbers 0702 900076 or 0783 047785. Alternative Digital, real issues, real talk.
Have you read a book that makes you want to shout the title from a rooftop? If you haven't, then here is that book. The Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government by retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Renowned Kenyan jurist and panelist Professor P.L. Olumumba and many other amazing speakers will grace the event. Do not miss the book launch on March 26, 2021, 2 p.m. at Imperial Royal Hotel. The ticket comes with a book, all this at just 200,000 shillings. Call 0702 9000 76 or 0783 04 7785 to get the book or follow up on the launch. This event is organized by Alternative Dig Talk in partnership with retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Have you held a peaceful demonstration by holding a placard or won a shot communicating about injustices? Is it a speech about rights? Are they for women, children, youths, people with disabilities, elderly, environmental or lands? Do you know you're a human rights defender? Are you threatened, harassed, intimidated, illegally arrested, detained, tortured or imprisoned as a result of defending rights? If you have experienced any of the forementioned, please reach out to National Coalition for Human Rights Defenders Uganda for assistance on their toll-free number 0800 100 250 or visit their offices located in Ntinda, Kampala, Semawata Road. Defending rights is constitutional. Please don't shy away.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning, all our viewers. We're always humbled seeing you watching us live from our social media page. That's the Alternative Uganda social media page on Facebook, and definitely on to YouTube, Alternative Uganda, and Twitter as well. Every last Friday of a week, of a month, we always have Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, the retired Justice of Supreme Court. Last week this very week, we had to come in because there was an emergency, for lack of another word, and he had to communicate to the world in regards to the petition, and that's how we had to come in. But as our norm, we had also to return today because there is always a monthly business vis-a-vis breaking stories. We are on our Facebook page, The Alternative Uganda, and wish to first of all thank everyone that has been following, liking, and any other contributions you've been making, but not forget to thank every single viewer out there, and especially our guests, that when we reach on to you, you always create time, because our show begins at 7 to 9. Sometimes to the lazy it's hard, to the strong people like Professor George Kanyeihamba and others, it's just something so light. We are in Professor George Wilson Kanyehamba's home, and as a norm, every last Friday of a month. Prof, may you please say hello to the viewers of the Alternative Dig Talk?
Good morning, Norman, and you are welcome, and your colleagues. Good morning, viewers, and obviously listeners somewhere. I am still very well, and so many dramatic events have occurred since we met last time, and I hope we shall have opportunity to discuss those events.
Thank you, Prof. We have 2 hours to exploit everything.
Thank you.
So here we are. I'd remind all citizens in this country, there is a book launch by Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, and it's happening on 26th March. It's going to be a Friday at 2 p.m. at Imperial Royal Hotel. For purposes of getting more information about the book launch, may you please contact 0702 9076. The numbers to call in regards to the book launch, please call 0702 9076 or 0783 04 7785. This book launch has, it's too historical, because the first publication, as per Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, it was 1970, which year? The first publication of the very title.
Of this,
the very title, yeah.
The first edition?
Evolution, yeah.
1975. before many of you were born.
Inclusive and most of the people in this country. So this is the second edition. At his 81 years, he has come up with the second edition of Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government. The guest speaker is none other than Professor Piero Olumumba from Kenya, and the guest of honor is the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker Jacobo Olanya. The panel includes, among others, Honorable Amambabazi, Honorable Mao, Dr. Zedriga Lina, Mona Bernard from Ghana, Dr. Miriam Matembe, Council Nicholas Opio, among others. You shouldn't miss this this book launch, because it's a historical one. Finally, if you are tortured and you have any concerns as a human rights defender, you have been tortured, harassed, threatened, please don't shy away. Reach to the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders onto their toll-free number, and that is 0800 100 25 0. National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders on 0800 100 250. That is National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders. Prof, you had asked me while we were off air to briefly read this, and then it will drive us to the real gist of this whole show. It's an article that Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba put down yesterday.
That's what I sent it to Monitor yesterday for publication.
He awaits the publication, but he asked me, before we go into this debate, to simply have an intro of this article, and this is its title. Kanyehamba's comment on Honorable Kyagulanyi's petition. Chief Justice Alphonse Winnie Dolo, right? Lawyer Malema Vidizi, wrong, and Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, ill-advised. Presidential elections petitions are governed by Article 104 of the Uganda Constitution, which provides as follows. Subject to the provisions of this article, any aggrieved candidate may petition the Supreme Court for an order that a candidate declared by the Electoral Commission elected as president was validly elected. A petition under Clause 1 of this article shall be lodged in the Supreme Court registry within 10 days after the declaration of the election results. The Supreme Court shall inquire and determine the petition expeditiously and shall declare its findings not later than 30 days from the date the petition, if filed. After due inquiry under Clause 3 of this article, the Supreme Court may A. dismiss the petition, B. declare which candidate was validly elected, or annul the election. Prof, let's begin from there. Many of us as citizens, people think the Supreme Court comes and gives a ruling based onto the evidence filed by the petitioner, and as per your article here, it simply means the court makes inquiries. Let's begin from there.
Yes. I've been very disappointed during these processes of petitions. We've had quite a number of them, that the people who were present or who made the Constitution of 1995, which is the supreme law of Uganda, are not consulted. The first petition under the 1995 Constitution was the petition number 1 of 2001 between Chiza Besigye and Museveni and the Electoral Commission. I had the privilege to participate as a judge in that petition. I also earlier had the privilege of being a member of the Constituent Assembly, which made the 1995 Constitution. I was also privileged to have been the chairman of the Legal and Drafting Committee of that assembly, and I had been elected by acclamation by all the delegates that I should be the ones to advise them on the Constitution because of my writings and my history as a constitutional lawyer. I am not the only constitutional lawyer in Uganda. There are others like Professor Sempebwa, retired Justice Odochi, who drafted the first draft of the Constitution. But amazingly, Norman, these lawyers don't want us to be consulted.
What do you mean these lawyers, Prof?
The lawyers who have been handling the petitions. I remember during the first petition, the lawyers who handled it consulted many members of the Constituent Assembly who had been present or who drafted the Constitution. It is quite obvious that if you want to know the meaning of the Constitution, you get the knowledge of the people who made the Constitution or who were there, witnesses, when it was made. If you read the findings, it's that they are findings, not judgments. I want to ask people like the lawyers who've been representing Kyagulanyi, or those who have been opposing them, representing the respondents, where do they get the word trial or judgment from our Constitution? Please, with your permission, or with reproduce Article 104 of the Uganda Constitution. That one has not been amended by anybody. If you read my findings in my opinion of 2001, you will find that I am the only one who read my findings. When the court assembled, I insisted, the other colleagues were not, that they would only reserve their judgments. They didn't want to read them. I said, the country has been waiting for what we decide in this case. I will read my findings. And I am the only one who insisted among 7 judges to read my judgment. And at the beginning, rather my findings, at the beginning of my findings, I distinguish between a trial and a judgment and an inquiry and the findings. We deliberately use the words in Article 104 that when a petition is filed, the Supreme Court shall inquire into the petition and give its findings. What do we mean by that? We meant that the Supreme Court is in charge of the inquiry. They don't depend
on the evidence,
like in a trial, on the evidence that has been produced by either the petitioner or the respondents, which has been the habit for some time now. You know, am now quite, I am over 80 now, but I wondered why God has kept me going. Those of us who sat in the Constituent Assembly and my colleagues with whom we participated in the 2001 election, the majority of them have gone to see God. I talk about Jas Kalokora, Jas Mlenga, excuse me, Jas Odeo. They all have passed away, Jas Sekoko. But I remain behind, maybe to continue guiding Ugandans about our constitution. So, in that constitution, I believe only just Sekoko and I use the words findings and orders. That's what the constitution says. So I want to know people, including lawyers, when they cite the judgment of Kanyeihamba in 2001. I never gave a judgment because it is not in the Constitution. And that the makers of the Constitution were very, very deliberate. They distinguished between trials and the judgments,
the findings,
and inquiries and findings. And the idea was that you should not just rely on the evidence
if one may ask,
produced by the parties.
Is there enough time for the panel to do the entire inquiry? Wouldn't that call for moving the whole country as one of the prerequisites to gather evidence? Also,
these are Ugandan judges. When elections are going on, campaigns are going on, we are there. So why do you need enough time? To do what? To know what you already know? If you read my book, and I have reproduced it in the article I have sent to Monitor, I was originally like all the other lawyers. I was not very careful. So when the lawyers argued before me, those who represent the Chief of SCJ, they didn't convince me. I was not very impressed. So I said, for me, the lawyers have not convinced me. I will be dismissing this petition of Chief of SCJ. And the late Justice Mlenga was a very brilliant man. So he called me at night. He said, Prof, you don't seem to have read the petition. He said, we are a commission inquiring into the petition. We don't depend on what the lawyers, either from the petitioner or from the respondents, say. We carry out inquiry on our own.
Independent inquiry.
So he said, have you read the report of the Commonwealth team of observers? Have you read this and that? This case of the Supreme Court? And even your own views in Tenyefuza as Attorney General. Have you read it, remembered them? So he called me about 11 o'clock at night. I was very bothered. I went back. He had called me, said, we are interpreting and applying Article 104 of the Constitution. I first looked at it, the one you have read. And he said, the petition shall be filed within 10 days of the results being declared, and they shall be filed in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court shall inquire, not trial. I want, I respect Mr. Segona, he's a good lawyer. But it seems he didn't read the words here, because he's been referring previous judgment. What judgment? They are findings. And the finding, the court is in charge of the petition. And it can hear evidence from the respondents. It can hear evidence from the lawyers and everybody, but it makes up its own
findings.
Yes, and can hear in its own witnesses and so forth, call them. This one, since the majority always avoided this area, there is growing a jurisprudence, an opinion that in a petition you depend on the evidence presented by the representative, the lawyer, and those in opposition from the respondents. No, that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. It is unconstitutional, and it is against the spirit and word of the Constitution. So I wanted to start with that one first, that the judges should never blame anybody except themselves. They are the ones to inquire into. And they are Ugandans, so you don't say they don't have time. When these people are campaigning, when they have television, they see what is happening.
Events, yeah.
When Kyagulanyi is arrested and kept in a car waiting, judges are watching. We are not. There was a judge who everybody laughed. There was a very famous group of musicians. By the way, Kyagulanyi is also a musician. They were called the Beatles. They were very famous worldwide. They even toured America and everywhere. So when there was a case before a judge, and the man said, I went to see the Beatles. Then he said, play, who are the Beatles? And everybody laughed at the judge. He said, you mean you live in England and you don't know who the Beatles are? Do you have to tell me?
Isn't it the same disappointment that people had when Justice Yoyakama said, I did not even know that Bobi Wine was being arrested?
Precisely. The same. Feigning ignorance is not part of a judge. So let's go back to the issues. If you read the article I have written, and I hope Monitor will publish it, because I talked to the editor of these newspapers and they said they will publish it. I don't blame Honorable Kyagulanyi. I think it was ill-advised. That's the word I use. You see, he himself is trying to tell people that I made the decision myself.
Yeah, because, as per...
But if he made the decision himself, then really, without his qualification as a presidential candidate, if you are only going to rely on yourself, you don't take advice from knowledgeable people. You don't take people from experts. Then you are not fit to govern this country. Museveni doesn't govern alone. These decisions, although he takes responsibility for them, even when I was his Attorney General, he used to ask me questions. What do you think, Kanyeihamba, we should do here? What do you think they are right to ask these questions? He would even send me documents to analyze and advise him. But when he took my advice, he would have adopted it as his own. You think these policies about education are his own ideas or the ideas of the Minister of Education? You think defense ideas are Museveni's own ideas or those of the Minister of Defense and the Army-in-Chief? Any president who does not take advice and they say, it's my own decision, is not fit to rule this country. So that's why I am insisting that Kyagulanyi got advice. Whether it was his lawyers, they are denying they did it, or whether they are foreign people, they were all wrong. You cannot judge the impartiality or non-impartiality of a judge except through his orders. You wait, however reprehensible he may have said this and that, the judge's constitutional upbringing, his mistakes, his opinions can only be judged through what he has decided judiciously. And we don't know what the Chief Justice would have decided. But for me, I happen to know. I want to speculate like Kyagulanyi and others, that he would have allowed this petition if it had come before them. What is my evidence for that? When he was Deputy Chief Justice, he presided over the interpretation of the Constitution. And his words, which are in black and white, he questioned the respondents. And he said, we have only made the Constitution. The ink is not dry yet. You want to change it. Is that a man who is biased in favor of the president? Only recently, after he became Chief Justice, Justice Alfonso Toro Owinyi said, Ugandans made a mistake in removing term limits.
Are they Ugandans or parliamentarians? Because this had nothing to do with us as citizens, Prof.
Norman, you are a journalist. I am a lawyer and I'm a constitutional lawyer. When I use these words, I use them advisedly. Whom do the members of parliament represent?
Citizens.
What were we representing in CA to make the constitution?
Citizens again.
Thank you, the people of Uganda. That's why I was very attracted. I am still attracted by Kyagulanyi. It is not the end. Because he says he's fighting for
people.
And he would be governing for the people of Uganda. People's power. That is what attracted me about it. I don't particularly appreciate the music. But by the way, last night, or was it the night before, he was shown singing. There is a beautiful song he sang. I can't remember the name, but it's very moving, and I want to get a copy of it. I'll call him what he sang at night. Having said that, do you think that this petition represented Kyagulanyi alone, presidential candidate? Is he the one we are interested in? He may be very attractive to younger people, but he's not attractive to older people. We love his ideas and his conviction. When he filed that petition, he filed that on behalf of more than 3 million
voters
who voted for him. He filed it in respect of Kanyeihamba, who introduced him and who voted for him. He did it for my people in my village, whom I persuaded to vote for him. Not for himself. He had come here several times because he's a friend of mine. And he never asked me that he was going to withdraw the petition. Neither did I tell him to file the petition because he never consulted me. I want to put it on record that although he regards me as his friend, he's got a copy of my books. He was prevented by some people from seeking my advice on the petition. I requested one of his assistants, and he conveyed the message that your friend, Professor Kanyeihamba, would like to browse through the petition before you file it. He didn't. And I think he was prevented. One of the people who was helping him was Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago, who we elected recently to continue with the same force. He has a habit of promising, and he doesn't keep his promises. He said he will come and see me. He made it, and witness were here, I will come and see you, Prof. He never came. I'm told he was in court. I told Segona, people through them, that please come and see me. We discuss the content of the petition. He refused to come because I know he got the message. You ask them, you are good reporters. Why didn't you want the opinion of Kanyeihamba in the petition? In 2001, he's one of the 3 judges who nullified the presidential election, not because the chiefs approved he had won or Museveni approved, but they had breached the constitution. They asked themselves, we asked ourselves 4 questions. Was the constitution provision violated? All of us 7 said yes, they were violated. We asked the second question. Were the presidential election free or fair? We were unanimous. No, they were not free or fair. Was there intimidation by the security forces, which you have seen now? We said there was intimidation. Unanimous, 7 of us. Then there is a question which I didn't want to put in the Constitution, but which people who wanted to rig the election put it there. They said, notwithstanding your findings on these questions, on the whole, do you think the election was okay? So, 7 of us, 2001, all of us unanimous. The election was not free or fair. There was intimidation. The security interfered. There was vote rigging, so forth. Then it came to that question, which is answered personally. Notwithstanding what you have found, should the election be nullified? Only 3, no, originally 5 of us.
5 to 2.
To 2 said yes. The election was violated, rather was not correct, it should be cancelled and we have another one. When we were debating it, Chigundu said they were ready to hold another one if the Supreme Court nullified the other. Then even spokesperson of the movement said they will accept the result. But unknown to us, they had already decided, and that's when reading my books, that should Chiza Besigye won the petition and they have to elect the result, they would go to the United Nations and say, Uganda, we are not independent, we can't hold our elections properly, we shall disband the Supreme Court and declare martial law, and then ask the Commonwealth or some other neutral body to come and conduct election for us.
How true was that?
And they didn't approach me because they knew I would refuse. They know my character. Although I was a movement man before I became a judge. They didn't ask Kyagulanyi, sorry, the late Justice Odell or Justice Sekoko, because they thought they were UPC. Now, Mulenga is a different cut of fish. They seem to have approached him. I'm afraid my former colleagues are all left this world, so it's my word against what they could have said. But I swear in the name of God, what I'm saying is truth. One of those who told me that they were going to go to the United Nations, and that's what they told the judges, is still alive. I have not disclosed his name, but he was very, very close to cabinet. Then I have already mentioned that later it is in my book. Both Justice Mulenga, late Mulenga, and the late Karokora expressed some regret that they had not stuck to their findings. Because you see, what they said is contrary to their findings. Remember, we are unanimous in our findings.
Yeah, 7 out of
including 7. Chief Justice, then Odochi, Jessica Turebe. All of us, we found unanimously that the election of 2001, presidential election, was not free or fair. But then it came to this personal question, and I will come to it a bit. Notwithstanding your findings, do you still think the election should be cancelled? I asked my colleagues, because I said, me, Justice Sekoko, and Justice Odell, we think it should be cancelled, and we hold another one in accordance with the Constitution. Then I asked my other colleagues who were hesitating, supposing it was Idi Amin, who had won in the same way exactly as Museveni has won, would you still say the election was free and rather we don't cancel it? He said, no way we would cancel it. I am building this picture that our Supreme Court now has personalized the elections. If it's somebody you like, okay, he won fairly.
Someone you hate?
Somebody you hate, it should be deleted because you don't want him to be the leader.
Prof, we have a few minutes to
please
break.
Let me finish there.
Okay.
Because I have given you a document. You can read it later if you think there was something emphasized in that document which we have not talked about. But the point I have made, and I want to repeat it, Kyagulanyi is a friend of mine, but I never want to tell lies. He won in those areas which he reported he won. It is logical. And he campaigned there, or people campaigned for him. I campaigned for him in my constituency. Although I wasn't there, I sent messages. Relatives came here, I said, our candidate this year is Kyagulanyi. But he only got few votes. It is not his fault. Many areas which voted against him didn't know him. It is a fact. So all that he's campaigning for and what his petition should have said is the elections were not free or fair. They are rigged, which is true. Votes were stolen, like Trump is saying in America, which is true. But there is no way he could argue that he won the presidential election. I would have been happier if he won. He won in Usoga. He won in Kasese.
This is what I'm reading from your words, Prof.
Yes, yes.
Much as Honorable Kyagulanyi petitioned, in your view, It's not that he could have, in your view, it's not that he won the whole country.
No.
But most
but
likely
the elections were not free or
that
fair.
happened, that took place in the entire process, might have affected his hopes to win, and therefore, in your view, the election, in your view, ought to have been nullified.
Absolutely, yes. That's the point I'm making.
It's 6 minutes to
because you
8.
see, let me complete why I'm saying that. There is no question about it. The evidence is available. It is supported by President Museveni himself in his statement, by the chairman of the Electoral Commission who has sacked those people who made the elections not free or fair. So had they been cancelled and we have another election which is based on the Constitution and is free and fair, it is most likely that Kyagulanyi would have won the second round. Why do I say that? The other candidates, none of them got, apart from Amoriat, got 1%. They all got simple percentages. They would therefore have campaigned for that one candidate who was Kyagulanyi, who had a chance to defeat President Museveni. And then, if the people in my area, the people in Teso, knew that their own leaders and their own candidates have withdrawn in favor of Kyagulanyi, Kyagulanyi would have won the second round.
Okay, our viewers, we're stepping out for a short break, and it's going to take us a minute or two and come back to Professor Judge Wilson Kanyeihamba, and then definitely we shall ask you to call in our studio number, and that is 0789 017 145. Our studio number is 0789 017 145. You would definitely interact or ask any questions to Professor Judge Wilson Kanyeihamba at 81. I, on behalf of the Alternative Digital, can assure you that his memory is as fresh as, in fact, even more than that of a young person. So he will definitely answer all the questions. Don't go away. We're coming back shortly.
The world is at a critical moment of providing innovative alternatives as a means to create change.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Have you read a book that makes you want to shout the title from a rooftop? If you haven't, then here is that book. The Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government by retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Renowned Kenyan jurist and panelist Professor P.L. Olumumba and many other amazing speakers will grace the event. Do not miss the book launch on March 26, 2021, 2 p.m. at Imperial Royal Hotel. The ticket comes with a book. All this at just 200,000 shillings. Call 0702 9000 76 or 0783 04 7785 to get the book or follow up on the launch. This event is organized by Alternative Digital in partnership with retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. with our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyo annema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the alternative digital etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugende mu maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative TikTok.
Have you held a peaceful demonstration by holding a placard or won a shot communicating about injustices? Is it a speech about rights? Are they for women, children, youths, people with disabilities, elderly, environmental or lands? Do you know you're a human rights defender? Are you threatened, harassed, intimidated, illegally arrested, detained, tortured or imprisoned as a result of defending rights? If you have experienced any of the forementioned, please reach out to National Coalition for Human Rights Defenders Uganda for assistance on their toll-free number 0800 100 250 or visit their offices located in Ntinda, Kampala, Semawata Road. Defending rights is constitutional. Please don't shy away.
The Alternative TikTok. Real issues, real talk.
Have you read a book that makes you want to shout the title from a rooftop? If you haven't, then here is that book. The Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government by retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Renowned Kenyan jurist and panelist Professor P.L. Olumumba and many other amazing speakers will grace the event. Do not miss the book launch on March 26th, 2021, 2 p.m. at Imperial Royal Hotel. The ticket comes with a book, all this at just 200,000 shillings. Call 0702 9000 76 or 0783 04 7785 to get the book or follow up on the launch. This event is organized by Alternative Digital in partnership with retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba.
The Alternative TikTok. Real issues, real talk.
Okay, we are back on air. My name is Tumuhimbise, and I have a wonderful team here of the Alternative Digital and with Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. I want to remind all human rights defenders out there, in the event that you're being threatened, harassed, tortured, mention but a few, don't hesitate to reach onto National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders on their toll-free number 0800 100 250. In Luganda, bw'oba oli mulwanirizi wa ddembe nga otulugunyizibwa otulugunyizibwa otiisibwatiisibwa n'ebirala ebyambiyo ne bibeera bikutuusiddwako either ab'ebitongole ebyandibadde bikuuma eddembe, teweetuulako, tuukirira aba National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders ku namba etali ya kusasula 0800 100 250. enamba eno eyaba National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders si yakusasula, so neoba tolina airtime ku simu yo kasoba ng'olinako eryanda ng'ate simu yo erimu line, okuba bukubi ku namba 0800 100 250. Nebabaako obuyambi oba oliawo bakuwa, bayinza okuyambako bw'obanga bakutulugunya ne bakusasulira ebisale by'eddwaliro, sinakindi n'okuyambako okusasulira bannamateeka batwala ensonga yo mu maaso. Akatabo ka Professor Kanyeihamba, it's going to be launched on 26th. And if you need any information about the book launch, where Professor Pielo Olumumba is going to be the guest speaker and also the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Jacob Bolanya as the chief guest at Imperial Royal on 26th March at 2 p.m. It's going to be a Friday. Please call 0702 9076 or 0783 0477 85. In the event that you want to interact or ask questions to or even comment to Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, whom we have now in our studio, but now in his home, you can call our studio line on 0789 017145. Studio number is 0789 017145. Prof, let's go back to the nitty-gritties of this whole petition. In the event, because you said, as per the law, the panel or the justices make findings, they make their own inquiries.
Yes.
So now that the main petitioner, that's Honorable Kyagulanyi, now that he has withdrawn, of course, not we are waiting for the court's decision on whether or not he's allowed to withdraw this petition. In the event that court refuses, what happens next?
First of all, while we had a break, I got some news that the lawyers, or some lawyers, may have declined to sign a petition, rather an affidavit, withdrawing the petition. There may still be hope. I want to apologize to those lawyers because I thought they have just gone along with their client and agreed to the withdrawal of the petition. Now it seems I was wrong, and I, for one, I make statements very bold, and I'm also very, very happy to apologize when I have made a mistake. So I want to particularly apologize to Kyagulanyi's lawyers, those who have been reluctant or are refusing to agree with his decision to withdraw the petition. As I have said, that petition is not just of interest
of an individual.
Individual Kyagulanyi. All those people, over 3 million Ugandans who voted for him or for NUP or for even the opposition parties were interested in the fate of this petition, which has been prematurely withdrawn, and have already said nobody should say the judges were going to be biased or not. We don't know, because you can only judge the bias of a judge through his order or her order, and not before then. Therefore, both the Chief Justice and his 8 colleagues on the Supreme Court who were going to hear this are being accused unfairly for being biased or for being cadres. There is no evidence whatsoever that they are. Secondly, I have already explained my own opinion of the Chief Justice and why I think he would have judged this petition very fairly in accordance with the Constitution and using his judicious powers to bring the right decision. Now we know that not all the lawyers, I don't know where there are any, Ugandans advise Kyagulanyi to withdraw. So we are going to continue speculating. Was he advised by foreigners, which is even worse? The foreigners don't know the system in Uganda. They don't know how our hearts beat. So it is very, 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 very clear that despite some of his lawyers objecting, getting his friend Kanyeihamba, please leave it there, and he insists on withdrawing, this is a mystery which I think even the Uganda government would be interested in. Is there some other force outside Uganda which is manipulating our candidates? I hope not.
Prof, if I may ask you, what does Bobby Wine, Honorable Kyagulanyi, benefit from this withdrawal, or what does he lose in this withdrawal?
Bobby Kyagulanyi loses a lot by withdrawing this petition, and he would have gained a lot more if the petition had been heard by the Supreme Court. I'll tell you the reasons why. His own lawyers and I have said in clear terms that every time we have a petition, in their wisdom, the judges make recommendations how to improve the situation, how to make our elections more transparent, and how candidates who are challenging President Museveni and the NRM party can improve their lot in the future and win. By withdrawing this petition, where most of us think he had a chance, he has deprived us of the wisdom of Doro Wonyo and the other judges. Don't let us forget that even these preliminaries, where I would have agreed with the majority judges, one of the judges actually dissented against his colleagues. We have since known that it was a man, a male judge. Now let me tell you, in the Attorney General versus Tinyefuza, one of the leading constitutional authorities in this country, I gave the lead judgment. Initially, many of my colleagues wanted to say this was a human rights position. Tinyefuza was fighting for his human rights, and we should allow his petition. But I propose the opposite, together with Justice Wambusi, that the soldiers are a special category who defend this country against external and internal aggression. And they should be disciplined enough to retire in accordance with their commissions of appointment. And we convinced the rest of our colleagues who wrote similar judgments, except two, I think, that the duty, when you agree to be a soldier, your duties transcend your rights, and therefore you must act in accordance with the national interest. There were two conflicting principles. One was individual liberty, and the other, the defense of this country by soldiers. We commissioned them. They are obliged to keep the commission. And that's what happened. In another case, where people had been accused and convicted both by the High Court and Court of Appeal of murder. I think a Ugandan of Asian origin had been accused of killing his wife with others. I remember that case.
Cookie, is it correct? Was he? Yeah, I remember that case.
And the people were convicted, including his brother, for conspiracy. We had the case. 5 of us thought he was guilty, and rather 6 of us thought he was guilty, and the High Court, Court of Appeal were right to convict and sentence him. But our brother Justice Odell was not so sure. He had reasonable doubt to think we were all wrong. So he fought on, even as we had that case, as we prepared the judgment, and eventually he convinced all of us, 6, that he was right, and one of those accused should be acquitted of murder. And we did. Had anybody withdrawn the prosecution? Or should we have said, he's only one, don't worry? We would have committed a miscarriage of justice. So, I am still of the view that if the Kyagulanyi's evidence of how he was treated before the elections, how his NUP was treated, if we had presented the evidence, the statement of President Museveni, and the statement by the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Justice Byamukama, that it is most likely that petition would have been allowed. And I want to emphasize, we don't have any evidence at all. And I am not a bad lawyer. I wasn't a bad lawyer, and I'm not a bad judge of character. We don't have any evidence that any of the judges, including the Chief Justice, were going to be biased in this particular case. They may have had evidence of bias elsewhere, but the fact that the Chief Justice visited the President or others, or he saw them, is no evidence at all that in their own mind as judges, they were going to be biased in this petition. I wanted to conclude here with one thing which is a good example, and they were both alive. We had the case from the IGG, the Inspector General of Government. She's a judge now, Mwonda. Mwonda, in other parts, although she hasn't seen me for some time, is a friend of mine. And she used to visit me when she was IGG and I was a judge of the Supreme Court. While this case was pending on from her office, she came to see me in my chambers at the Supreme Court. I welcomed her in my chambers. We were there too. Some of my colleagues said, Kanyeihamba, you have made a terrible mistake. Her case is with us. She's now come to your chambers to see you. How can she see you? I said, excuse me. Whether I am biased or not is in my mind. She can come see me and I still be biased. She may not have come, or she may have brought me money in order for them to win the case. So we talked for about 20 minutes. She left, and the people became very suspicious, including especially the junior staff. Kanyeihamba is also corrupt. You see, he's the one writing the lead judgment in that case.
And he's now meeting.
And the IGG have come And I saw him privately in his chambers. And it became a matter of comment. I kept quiet. The application by the IGG officials is not her fault, but her lawyers who had come, they didn't have any case at all. It was empty. So when I went there, I dismissed their case with costs.
Despite having met her?
Met her privately. You can, when I went to Kenya, you know, I led the team of commissioners to investigate whether the Kenya judiciary was corrupt or not. I led the team of eminent judges. In Kenya, the practice was you don't sit with the judge, you are not seen in public with the judge. So they boycotted me. I would drink tea alone. You can't be near a judge. They think you are corrupting, or the judge is corrupt. What did we discover? We discovered that it was corrupt. There was a lot of corruption in the Kenyan judiciary, including the Chief Justice himself. So appearances don't tell you the truth. What impressed me about Chief Justice Alfonso Odoro Owenye was his courage to say, we made a mistake in removing term limits. His other statement, that why do you want to amend this constitution before the ink is dry of the 1995 constitution? That is, to me, evidence of impartiality and of known bias.
Okay, our viewers, we are still on the Alternative Dig Talk, and this is the Mighty Drive. But every last Friday of a month, we are with Professor Judge Wilson Kanyeihamba. And I want to ask Prof, what does the law say in regards to any other person taking up the petition in the event that Bobi Wine is successful in withdrawing both the interest in the petition and the petition itself? Because we see a former presidential candidate by the names of a title, engineer, and then the name Wile Mayambala wants to take it up.
The constitution is clear. It doesn't say it is runners up who should petition, but any presidential candidate who has lost can petition. So Mayambala, if he was a presidential candidate, he can also petition. Of course, petition, you must petition 10 days
that's what I wanted to
after
ask.
the election.
Now that they are expired, does he have to rely on the affidavits that have
No,
been
but
filed?
at the Supreme Court, they have got discretion. If you are prevented from petitioning, because somebody has had petition.
So you can seek leave.
Yes, you can seek leave. So you seek leave to petition instead of Kyagulanyi. And in my opinion, we are talking about the same elections, so he could adopt many of the affidavits that Kyagulanyi's witnesses had sworn on. So it is possible. Secondly, when I left the judiciary, I'm told the Chief Justice made rules to implement the Constitution. And I'm sure if you read those rules, they permit anybody authorized by the rules of the Chief Justice to petition instead of the runners-up. It doesn't have always to be the runners-up to petition. Secondly, as I have said, all of us, It seems even from what I have heard now this morning, Kyagulanyi's own lead counsel, Segona, who has been reluctant to sign, that we were not under pressure, we all were interested, we are stakeholders in the petition. This country's laws can't depend on one individual, whether it is the president or a presidential candidate. And therefore, I still am of the view, knowing him, he's a very a nice man, he listens to people. Some other force seems to have ill-advised Honorable Kyagulanyi.
Okay, those are the words of Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, that most likely the former presidential candidate, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, might have been ill-advised. I wanted to first of all ask this question. It's from, I also wanted to put it onto your notice that Honorable Zake Botebi is following keenly and watching you.
Who?
Honorable Zake Botebi is the MP elect for Mityana. In fact,
Yes.
An MP now.
Yes.
There is Hassan Kayinda, and he sounds bitter. What did you do as a judge to fight against the constitution? What did you do as a judge, I think then, to defend the constitution? There is no mistake, in his view, that there is no mistake for Kyagulanyi to withdraw the petition.
Is what?
He says in his view that he doesn't see any mistake for Kyagulanyi to withdraw his petition.
Then I disagree with him. I think we are both free citizens of Uganda. He's entitled to his view, which is wrong. I'm entitled to mine, which I think is correct. And he said, what have I done to defend the Constitution? I have written over 30 books, all defending the Constitution. How many of them has this gentleman got? Including, is he coming on the 26th to the launching of my book, which is going to be a leading textbook on public law.
Hassan Kayinda, you have heard, Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba has authored 31 books in defense of the Constitution.
To educate the public.
To educate you and others. And he asks, these aren't my words, he asks, how many, Kayinda Hassan, how many books, please, any books asked, how many books have you authored, sir? Maybe you could declare how many you have authored.
And he sounds like he's a Muslim. I can tell to him, Salam Halakum, and said one of those books is on Islam, Kanyehamba's reflections on Muslim leadership crisis in Uganda, the president in his wisdom and on God's advice asked me to chair an international committee to resolve Muslim leadership. And we did. It is under our recommendations that the current Mufti of the old Kampala was elected. Our recommendation was accepted by the leader and the Mufti of Chibuli, Kakoza, I hope he's still alive, but rejected by the former late Mufti, Luwemba, who wanted that if ever I appeared on old Kampala Mosque, they would hold me by force and circumcise me. Then I told him that he would be very surprised because I was circumcised a long time ago for medical reasons.
Maybe they would do the double circumcision.
Yes,
okay,
I don't know there's such a thing.
That would become Imbaru.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
We are on the mighty drive with Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. And we want to take you slightly away from the petition and to the disappointment of so many
people. Could we have 1 second?
Yeah.
Stop, please.
Let's have a break of just 40 seconds and we're back right away.
Where is my man?
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Have you read a book that makes you want to shout the title from a rooftop? If you haven't, then here is that book. The Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government by retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Renowned Kenyan jurist and panelist Professor P.L. Olumumba and many other amazing speakers will grace the event. Do not miss the book launch on March 26, 2021, 2 p.m. at Imperial Royal Hotel. The ticket comes with a book, all this at just 200,000 shillings. Call 0702 9000 76 or 0783 04 7785 to get the book or follow up on the launch. This event is organized by Alternative Digitalk in partnership with retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Have you read a book that makes you want to shout the title from a rooftop? If you haven't, then here is that book. The Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government by retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Renowned Kenyan jurist and panelist Professor P.L. Olumumba and many other amazing speakers will grace the event. Do not miss the book launch on March 26, 2021, 2 p.m. at Imperial Royal Hotel. The ticket comes with a book, all this at just 200,000 shillings. Call 0702 9000 76 or 0783 04 7785 to get the book or follow up on the launch. This event is organized by Alternative Digitalk in partnership with retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
We are back on air with Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, and he had just something brief to Mr. Hassan Kayinda, and then we continue with our discussion.
Mr. Kayinda, I wanted to give you advice. You rush to judgment. You already judged that my friend Kyagulanyi was right to withdraw his petition. Obviously, you are wiser than I am on this matter. But unfortunately, the whole world knows me to be a constitutional lawyer who has lived with the law for a long, long time. But I wanted to advise you what the land rector told to a Muslim who was objecting very strongly that I should not chair the reconciliation meeting about Muslims appointed in his wisdom by President Museveni. Somebody objected. He said, "Who is this? I'm told that he is even a Christian and he's interfering in the Muslim affairs." The rector of the oldest Islam university of Alexandria Law School responded to him. He said, "Are you a Muslim?" He was asking that man. The man said yes. He said, "You are not. Because if you were, you would know that in his infinite wisdom, Allah can use anyone, whether Christian or not, to solve the problem." And everybody in the audience, we were in Mbarara, clapped very hard for him. So I want to tell Hussein, one of my mottos is that the more I know, the less I understand. I want Mr. Hussein to tell me, what does that mean? The more I know, the less I understand. Does it make sense to him? If it makes sense to him, then he's wise.
Okay, our viewers, we are still with Professor Wilson Kanyeihamba, and we want to remind all human rights defenders out there that in the event that you have any threats, any torture, unjustifiable and illegal arrests or detentions, and you are stuck, don't hesitate to call National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders 0800 100 That is 0800 100 250. That's a toll-free number for National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders, Uganda, and also visiting their physical office address on Semawata Road. In the event that you want to know any information about to know about the book, the launch of the book, which has been authored by retired Justice George Wilson Kanyeihamba, with the title Evolution of Constitutional Law. Hotel. The chief guest is Right Honorable Jacobo Olanya. The keynote speaker is Professor Pierre Olumumba, and a panel includes Right Honorable Amma Mbabazi, Honorable Norbert Mao, Dr. Miriam Atembe, Council Nicholas Opio, Dr. Lina Zedriga, and Bernard Mona from Ghana. You shouldn't miss this this book launch. Any concerns, any questions, please reach the Alternative Digitalk on number 0702 9076. 0702 9076. It's for a limited number, as per the Prime Minister's wisdom he proposed to Professor Kanyeihamba. Indeed, the numbers should be strictly 200 people. So you had better call 0702 9076 or 0783 047785. Muganda would say, anakutemya composing wegala wambazi ate mbazi jesina. Let's go back to Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. I was telling you on how we hear disappointments from the citizens about Parliament when it comes to the kidnaps. And recently, the best that Parliament did was to ask and task the Minister for Internal Affairs to only present information or the names of the people that are being held by security. To the disappointment of citizens, these people have been in the hands or in custody, some as far as December or even November. Don't you think it would be wise for Parliament to instruct security to release these people with immediate effect than simply asking for their names? What's your comment on that?
I agree with you. Under our Constitution, which I still believe in, nobody should be held incommunicado or without the sanction of the courts of law. And what you are saying is unconstitutional. What the authorities are doing is unconstitutional, is anti-democratic, is anti-people, and it should never happen in Uganda. So I entirely agree, and I like your appeal for people to appeal in order to approach those people who have dedicated their lives to supporting
National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders.
That's right. I believe Nicholas Opio, one of those who is going to be discussant at the launch of the book, is one of them. And for me, I want to say something about him, that he competed for the leadership of the Royal Society. He wants to be its president. and political interference came in, and he was branded as a homosexual only because he used to support, rather to defend those who were rightly or wrongly accused of being homosexuals. So I made a statement then. I said, therefore, all the lawyers are criminals because they support, rather they defend people accused of crime. It's just ridiculous. That is how absurd our country has come. When you are following the right thing, doing the right thing, people want to condemn you. Like a gentleman is critical of us for saying Kyagulanyi should not have withdrawn the petition. What does Hussein lose? If the case is hard, then we can decide on the evidence. The Chief Justice was biased, the judges was biased. But they want to condemn them before they are hard. No, that is not correct. That's not Kanyeihamba. I'm not with Hussein.
Okay.
He's wrong.
We are still with Professor Wilson Kanyeihamba, and we'll have some few minutes to leave here.
Sorry.
But also to say, do not hesitate to call our studio number 078901 7145. We could ask him a question direct. If I may ask, previously when we were here on an exclusive interview, you said that if Honorable Kyagulanyi's intentions to withdraw the petition were true, you had for some reason withdrawn some of your trust in him. And you would ask, so how could he...
If it was true,
at the time,
can you prove to me that it is true?
Now, indeed, he has withdrawn because he has already signed his affidavit with intentions to withdraw, save for the lawyers, some of the lawyers, and namely Honorable Medad Segona, whose affidavit hasn't been filed, and as of yesterday, court had given them up to today to have sworn in all necessary affidavits. In the event that this happens, because you said in our today's interview that you said that Bobi Wine loses much if indeed he continues and withdraws the petition. And I want to believe one of the things he loses is the public trust. What can he do to regain the lost trust in the event?
You see, unless you prove to me, which you haven't, that it is on his own volition that he has withdrawn. There are many rumors circulating in the country. None of them has been proved true. Some circles in the government think that he's being preempted by foreign elements. I do not know about that. But then we hear a car came into the country without passing through the ordinary channel. No government allows something like that to just to appear in Kampala without authority. So the government is right to question that. Then you say, who sent him such an expensive car but didn't pass through the government channels? These are ponderable questions which ordinary citizens like me, even if we support change of government, if we want to change government in Uganda, the reason is we want something better. Now, if Kyagulanyi now has said that he also is going to be a dictator, he will make a decision himself, whether the Kanyeihambas like it or not, or whether they're going to like it, then I have withdrawn my bit of confidence in him. I cannot have a leader of this country who does not respect advice from experts and others. So I hope he's listening to me.
You said he was here and took some of your program.
He took some of my program.
We believe we shall also share this program with him so that he can really hear from the horse's mouth.
Yes. So if he promised to come, he filed this petition, which I wanted to look at as an expert, constitutional lawyer. You ask him, I ask him, I said, have you consulted the people like Sempewa? Or, I don't know whether you know him.
Yeah, we do.
Former Chief Justice Odochi. These are constitutional lawyers. And I don't think they would refuse you if you ask for advice. He said no. So which are, I want him to convince me, which are the constitutional lawyers
That they consulted before.
that they consulted.
Before
because, what is his name? The one who said he was involved in the case, Elias Ukwago, is not a constitutional lawyer. Segona is not a constitutional lawyer. Which are the constitutional lawyers, experts?
Did they consult?
Did they consult?
I
am waiting to see.
There is this, and I will definitely bring it to you because we are a media house.
Yes.
And definitely, once people bring their comments or their concerns, I bring it straight to you. Sufyan Barak.
What?
His name is Sufyan Barak.
Yes.
And I want to begin by the Luganda word statement he used. Oyo talina kyatugamba. He played with English and failed to entrench term limits and age limit.
Who?
You. When you were drafting the constitution.
What is his name?
He is Sufiana.
Sufyan
Barak. Sufyan Barak agamba. Oyo talina kyatugamba. He failed. He played with English and failed to entrench term limit and age limit articles. He is now. That's what he said. Stay where you are, boss.
My God. This is part of what is wrong with our country. That man doesn't know what he's talking about. I've been fighting that they don't remove age limit, term limits. I'm the one who put them there. But the NRM party removed them.
He talks of
I don't have guns to shoot Museveni. Or the NRM who removed them. My late friend, Katwegaya, Bidanisali is still alive. Amanya Mshega. We opposed with all our strength the removal of term limit. We are the one who put it there. Talina Chayogera. Oyo musajja oyo talina Chayogera.
I
don't want to be angry with him.
Sufyan Barak.
They said, don't argue with the fools in case people think you are one of them. So I don't want to argue with him.
We are still on the mighty drive, and every last Friday of the month we are at retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, where we really have to share the entire sequence of events as per a whole month. And indeed, we have. I'm sure you follow current affairs.
Yes.
May I report to you that they are cooking some amendments where they want a deputy president, and indeed they were proposing to have the parliamentary term and presidential. In fact, all leaders from 5 to 7 years. What's your comment? Especially with the deputy president, where they will think or suggest.
I am more up to date on that one.
That they would rather have.
Of course, I'm against.
That they would rather have a deputy president than a vice president.
You see, my statement has been one since I met you.
Let me finish this, Prof.
Oh, sorry.
Don't you think this is a move? And for with due respect, I'm simply speculating. A move to bring back your friend, Right Honorable Armah Mbabazi, and perhaps make him powerful, and as part of the succession plan, if you don't mind sharing your mind.
Well, I don't want to speculate.
Deputy
That's
president.
the reason. But I wanted to remind you yesterday, and I don't want you to be just like ordinary Ugandans who don't see things. What did the newspaper yesterday report? Did it report wrongly? They said that the committee, the parliamentary committee
on legal affairs,
legal committee, is the one which made this suggestion. It was laughed out of court by the parliament yesterday. They said, you people, you want to embarrass parliament. We don't want to change the constitution. We want to remain 5 years.
Isn't that what now is valid? So shouldn't we congratulate Parliament a few days ago for rejecting this proposal? Anybody can make proposals. The question is it being accepted? Like our friend, he said, Kanyeihamba talina kyayogera. Ati, when he says, is that what he's saying is what I did and what I should do. That's why I said, don't argue with the fools in case people think you are one of them.
About the deputy president vis-a-vis the vice president.
I have said, and I want to repeat it. Let's go back to the 1995 Constitution. Don't amend it. Don't do anything. Please. Doesn't that answer your question?
It does.
Thank you.
Iramu Bobby. Please, Prof, how did he get the number plate then? Really, please don't believe in NRM propaganda blackmail that Kyagulanyi is influenced by foreigners. He means the, I think it's a he, yeah, Iramu Bobby. I think it's in regard to the importation and its subsequent clearance in regards to that armored vehicle. That the propagandists are simply saying the vehicle could have come in illegally, so how did he even get the number plate of that very vehicle? I think this is simply a comment from Iram Bobby.
Let me make a short answer to that one. Thank you for informing me. You seem to be more knowledgeable about how the car came in. Thank you for informing me.
Our viewers, we are having less than 5 minutes with Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba in his residence, and we always have him every last Friday of month. He gives words of wisdom to both our generation and the generations to come. To remind you that he's going to be launching his 31st book with the title Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government at Imperial Royal. The day and the date, it's going to be a Friday, 26th March, 2 p.m. It's one historical event that none of you should miss. So as long as you are alive and you are able, and if you really pass the test, that is by calling 0702 9076 or 0783 047785. In the event that you're being tortured, harassed, arrested, detained, or otherwise, please reach to National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders on their toll-free number of that's 0800 100 250. They will give you some support, which they will deem relevant. Prof, I want to ask you to say a few.
By the way, before you go,
closing remarks. Yeah,
there was some remark.
Yeah,
that there is a contest in Parliament about speakers and deputy speakers.
Yeah,
I want to tell you that I consulted the leader of government business as to whom I should invite
as the guest of
honor.
Event, yes.
My other book, The Blessings and the Joy of Being You Are, was, the chief guest was the Speaker of Parliament, Kadaga. And I was advised, why don't you invite
Right Honorable Jacob
Olanya,
who confirmed last week?
Yes. So it has nothing to do with the reflection of who should be speaker, who should not be.
Okay.
I want to make that clear.
Okay. Our viewers out there, today it's a Friday, and we all know that every Monday and Friday we have that Masanyalaze Genyini, like Baganda put it, and that's the voltage. Our show, live show, that is there to promote young people's political, economic, and social interests. So do not hesitate. Don't forget to tune in onto our social media pages, Alternative Uganda, today from 7 to 9 p.m. You to be broadcasting live, where we have a very wonderful presenter, Lilian Iluwede, amidst Ida Nakuya on behalf of either DP or opposition, then Mahanja Robert as a panelist, and Tony Wande as an NRM representative onto that panel. Prof, we have 2 minutes for you to say final remarks for today, especially inviting people to your launch, and any other remarks that you deem relevant for now.
The submission of the petition by presidential candidate Kyagulanyi to the Supreme Court excited many Ugandans, including me. We waited for the Supreme Court to dispose of it by giving each judge's finding, as we did. And Chief Justice Odochi, he summarized for the public that each judge said this. This is the finding of Kanyeihamba. This is the finding of Karukura. This is the finding of so and so. This is the finding of so and so. Then we collectively made the order, which was 4-3 dismissing the petition. We expected that to be precedent for the future. And each Supreme Court hearing a case successfully should follow that. They have never overruled us. That is the precedent. So why didn't they follow the precedent in subsequent years? It's a question I asked the Chief Justice, and you lawyers, you should ask him, why do you all differ from the judgment
the other precedent
of 2001? Secondly, why does the Constitution say you will carry out inquiries and each individual will say what he has found, but you are calling it a trial and you say judgment? The Constitution says you should carry out investigation yourselves. The 9 of you should investigate. And the Kanyeihamba has told you how he nearly went wrong and Justice Mulenga collected him. Why are you saying you depend on the parties, what they say?
Okay, by good
Please, I am asking the Chief Justice, I respect him, he's a good judge. Please guide us, guide the nation. Why have you substituted inquiry with trial?
Okay.
Why have we considered the findings of each judge with a collective view?
Okay. We shall have, most likely we shall have an answer by the time we come back here, because I can assure you.
Please bring me the answer.
Yeah, we will be here on 20. By the way, we'll also be here on 26th.
Yes.
March. That's the last Friday of March. By the way, by God's grace, we shall have him, and we shall have both professors. Most likely, if doctorate could be won through osmosis, I will definitely become a doctor at that time, because I will have Professor Wilson Kanyeihamba and I also have Professor Pierre Olumumba on that day, 26th. It's going to be a Friday, so that interview is going to feature 2 professors. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be Friday. Finally,
I am making a request.
Yes, please.
To you,
yes, sir,
personally, and to your organization, please publicize, even if I have to pay for it, in the whole media and the newspapers, Article 104 of the Uganda Constitution.
Well, we shall do that, Prof.
Thank you.
And Mugaga Ibrahim, I will always respect Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. We cannot add even a second from now. Gentlemen and ladies, thanks for watching. Continue watching us, following, liking. Indeed, advise us. Today there is the Voltage Show at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, no, the other week, Monday, there is Dr. Lina Zedriga. Dr. Lina Zedriga, the Deputy Principal of National Unity Platform, will feature in the Mighty Drive Show. Thanks for following, liking, and watching us. Thanks, Prof. May God bless all of us, for God and my country.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Have you read a book that makes you want to shout the title from a rooftop? If you haven't, then here is that book. The Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and Government by retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba. Renowned Kenyan jurist and panelist Professor P.L. Olumumba and many other amazing speakers will grace the event. Do not miss the book launch on March 26, 2021, 2 p.m. at Imperial Royal Hotel. The ticket comes with a book. All this at just 200,000 shillings. Call 0702 9000 76 or 0783 04 7785 to get the book or follow up on the launch. This event is organized by Alternative Digitalk in partnership with retired Justice Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Have you held a peaceful demonstration by holding a placard or won a shot communicating about injustices? Is it a speech about rights? Are they for women, children, youths, people with disabilities, elderly, environmental or lands? Do you know you're a human rights defender? Are you threatened, harassed, intimidated, illegally arrested, detained, tortured or imprisoned as a result of defending rights? If you have experienced any of the forementioned, please reach out to National Coalition for Human Rights Defenders Uganda for assistance on their toll-free number 0800 100 250 or visit their offices located in Ntinda, Kampala, Semawata Road. Defending rights is constitutional. Please don't shy away.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.